Animals in Chernobyl survived against all odds. On April 26, 1986, there was an explosion in the fourth reactor of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant due to faulty design and incorrectly trained workers. While the disaster devastated the environment, it turned out that the total amount of radiation was many times higher than hundreds of atomic bombs. In the city of Pripyat, the radiation caused by the disaster caused the leaves of thousands of trees to turn rusty and gave the forest a new name, Red Forest. Workers eventually bulldozed the radioactive trees. In addition, Soviet soldiers were ordered to shoot stray animals within the 1,000 square mile Chernobyl Exclusion Zone. Today, many animal and plant species have survived, although experts believe parts of the region will remain dangerous to humans for another 20,000 years. The absence of humans has made Chernobyl a new home for wild animals. The Chernobyl disaster reveals a world without humans. It is absolutely illegal to hunt in this area. It is not possible for people to live in the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone. That is why nature has established its own habitat, independent of human activities. Few animal species live better inside the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone than outside. Bears and wolves outnumber humans in Chernobyl. According to biologist Jim Beasley, the population of large mammals in the area has far exceeded their pre-disaster numbers. Bears, wolves, lynxes, bison, deer, beavers, foxes, badgers, wild boars, and raccoon dogs are just a few of the species that lived in radioactive Chernobyl. Besides large animals, various amphibians, fish, worms, and bacteria have also settled in the no man's land. Population of an endangered wild horse breed begins to increase. The Smithsonian's National Institute of Zoo and Conservation Biology called the Przewalski, or Mongolian horse, the last true wild horse. The horses, which once spread over large areas of Asia and Europe, were nearly extinct. But British ecologists studying the effects of radiation on Chernobyl's wildlife observed that the number of Przewalski's horse increased within Chernobyl. In the late 1990s, about 30 Przewalski horses were released on the Ukrainian side of the irradiated zone, and this population has grown to over 200 today. Radiation may have killed insects in Chernobyl. Unlike animals and plants, the number of insects and spiders in Chernobyl dropped drastically. A 2009 study in Biology Letters found that in some areas around the Chernobyl disaster area, excess radiation negatively affected insects. A similar situation occurred after the 2011 nuclear accident at the Fukushima nuclear power plant. While the population of birds, cicadas, and butterflies in Fukushima decreased, other animals were not affected. Animals in Chernobyl are considered mutants. Scientists noted significant genetic changes in organisms affected by the disaster. According to a 2011 study by the Biological Conservation, genetic mutations increased 20 times in plants and animals living in Chernobyl. We need more research to understand how increased mutations affect species reproduction rates, population size, genetic diversity, and other survival factors. Mutation is not what you think. There are no two-headed bears or four-eyed fish in the area like in the movies. The mutation of animals in Chernobyl very rarely causes some to grow faster. The lifetime of cesium-137, one of the radioactive isotopes found in the region, is more than 30 years. This isotope settles on some vegetables that animals eat, affecting others disproportionately. For example, it turned out that voles that ate the radioactive mushrooms were less fertile, resulting in a reduced population. Swallows have albinism. It turned out that the swallows in the area showed partial albinism, possibly as a result of genetic mutations due to radiation. In areas with high radiation levels, bird populations with smaller brains and fewer sperm increased. Chernobyl dogs adopted. Descendants of dogs abandoned by their owners during the evacuation of the city on April 27, 1986 have been living in the uninhabited area for years. Now, an organization called the Clean Future Fund is helping run sterilization campaigns in Chernobyl. They also provide medical care, vaccinations, and even food to the Chernobyl pups. In 2018 and 2019, It was revealed that several dogs' radiation levels became safe for humans and these dogs were adopted. There are people living in restricted areas. Some of the Chernobyl dogs were adopted by people living in restricted areas. Some villages near the city, also known as the exclusion zone, have large numbers of people living with the tacit permission of the authorities. These residents usually live in this area prior to the disaster. The residents are mostly women and the elderly.